Now here's the prophecy about Simeon and Levi's future. Verse 7, cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. Here's the prophecy. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Again, this is going to be fulfilled 500, 600 years later. I will divide them in Jacob. I will scatter them in Israel because of their anger, because of their rage. Simeon and Levi will be scattered throughout Israel. In other words, they're not going to receive territory of their own. If you're taking notes, Joshua chapter 19, verse 1 tells us Simeon's inheritance was within the inheritance of Judah. Within the land of Judah, specifically 17 cities within Judah's territory were given to Simeon. So Simeon was given 17 cities. No land, but 17 cities. The 17 cities given to Simeon were in the southern part of Judah and the Negev desert, where it's very harsh and very difficult to live. And over time, Simeon was just kind of absorbed into the tribe of Judah. So they're scattered throughout Judah. Now the tribe of Levi, with the tribe of Levi, how are they scattered throughout Israel? Well, the tribe of Levi became the priests of Israel. And they served the Lord at the tabernacle. Well, how did that happen? I mean, they killed all the men in Shechem, so how do they end up serving the Lord in the tabernacle? They end up serving the Lord because of their faithfulness to God in Exodus 32. They redeem themselves. In Exodus 32, that's the story of the golden calf. Remember, Moses goes up on Mount Sinai to receive the law, and the children of Israel are down below in the camp. Aaron, Moses' brother, fashions a golden calf. The people enter into immorality and worshiping this golden calf. It was the tribe of Levi, the Levites, who stood against the immorality and against the worship of the golden calf. It was the tribe of the Levites, who took their swords and went through the camp, and they put a stop to the immorality. And they put a stop to the idolatry that was in the camp. And they were the only tribe that stood against the immorality and against the idolatry in the camp. They did the same thing, sort of, as they did in Shechem. But this time, their zeal was for a righteous cause. Their zeal was for a righteous cause. Where before, the zeal they showed against the men of Shechem, well, that was unrighteous. Now they had righteous zeal. And because of that, God set the tribe of Levi apart to serve Him, to stand before the Lord, and to minister unto the Lord at the tabernacle. And so the Levites were scattered throughout the land of Israel, just as this prophecy states, to live in cities known as Levitical cities. And there were 48 Levitical cities all throughout the land of Israel. And the reason God scattered the Levites into these 48 Levitical cities were a couple reasons. Number one, so that no matter where you lived in the land of Israel, there were always Levites nearby. There was always a priest you could go talk to, not that far from where you lived. Just as God has scattered Christians all throughout the world, so that Christians are an influence all throughout the world. They had these Levitical cities so that the Levites would be an influence for the righteousness of God all throughout the nation. Plus, the Levitical cities were the cities of refuge, so that if somebody was trying to kill you, you could flee to a city of refuge, and who's going to protect you? The Levites. The Levites live in the city of refuge, right? I mean, who else would you want protecting you other than the Levites, right? So you could go to the city of refuge, and the Levites would stand up for you and protect you. So both Simeon and Levi, they're scattered throughout the land of Israel. Both Simeon and Levi were consumed with misdirected zeal, but Levi redirected his zeal into a godly path. I think of Saul of Tarsus. Saul of Tarsus had misdirected zeal as he was going around to cities and rounding up Christians to put them to death. But once Saul of Tarsus encountered Jesus Christ and Saul of Tarsus was born again, his zeal was redirected into the service of Jesus and for the cause of Christ. And he was able to use his zeal to do great things for Jesus Christ. Saul didn't stop being zealous or passionate after his conversion to Christ. Sometimes I think for men especially, we kind of have this idea that, once we come to Christ, like, now we have to be sissies or something, right? We can't be as passionate or zealous as we were before, because that's not godly. Well, I would say Saul of Tarsus was a pretty passionate, intense dude, right? But what he did is he channeled that intensity for the Lord. He didn't stop being intense. He just now uses that intensity for Christ. It's good to have zeal. It's good to have passion. It's good to have intensity, as long as it's not misdirected. We need to focus our zeal on serving Jesus Christ and his purposes. And so we have these prophecies here about Reuben, Simeon, and Levi, and in the coming Sundays we'll look at the prophecies to the other tribes. These tribes, these prophecies about these tribes just prove to us the remarkable accuracy of the Bible, and that the Bible is the Word of God, and that we can trust the Bible, and more importantly, we can trust the God of the Bible.